Mr. West, you were wrong. Again. You owe your subscribers an apology and you need to retract your statement. In this video, I stated that the Beachy Head White Cliff was less than 60 meters above mean sea level, which would mean we do not live on a globe. Viewing from Worthing to Beachy Head Cliffs, date 5th of May 2019, Sunday, time 16:20. I provided evidence that you have ignored or are just having cognitive difficulties with. This cliff is less than 60 meters above mean sea level, and this will be proved. I sent you an email, but you had difficulties with that as well. That will be the next video. You showed a generated image from Google Earth Pro and stated that the white cliff seen in my observation was actually 106 meters above mean sea level, which would prove that we do live on a globe. You stated that the cliff in the real-life video still is 106 meters above mean sea level and formed the following association with your generated image. Today, Saturday, 1st of June, the weather along the south coast was marvelous and allowed the following video to be recorded. Viewing from Worthing to Beachy Head Cliffs. Date 1st of June 2019, Saturday, time 16:06. Viewing distance of 44.2 kilometers, 27.4 miles. The following video stills and pixel analysis screenshots show that as the camera zooms out, the top white cliff, 106 meters above mean sea level, disappears from sight. Only the lower white cliff at sea level is left visible. The White Cliffs of Beachy Head. Zooming out, and more, and more. Top white cliff is no longer visible. Lower white cliff is still visible. Top white cliff is not visible. Lower white cliff is still visible. Pixel analysis. High white pixels present, low white pixel present. Video time 1425. Pixel analysis. High white pixels present, low white pixels present. Video time 1426. Pixel analysis. No high white pixel, low white pixels present. Video time 1427. Pixel analysis. No high white pixels, low white pixel present. Video time 1428. Is the lower cliff actually visible in the video still at this time? Yes, it is. Mr. West, we could even say that the white cliff that is seen when the camera is zoomed out is a combination of both the cliff at 106 meters above mean sea level and the large lower cliff. But that still means that we are seeing the lower cliff and we don't live on a globe. Nothing can change that. Mr. West, your deception and lies are exposed and truth is revealed. We do not live on a globe. It's time to put your childish models away, Mr. West. You will only humiliate yourself further if you keep using them. They do not work. They do not replicate real-life observations. I appreciate you have put significant time and effort into your computer models and have a certain attachment to them, but they are just a toy. And while we are here, Mr. West, let's see what else this observation reveals. Where are we viewing again and at what distance? Viewing from Worthing to Beachy Head Cliffs. June 1st, 2019, Saturday, time 16:06. Viewing distance is 44.2 kilometers or 27.4 miles. Here is your generated image using the Google Earth Pro Zoom In function. This cliff is 106 meters above mean sea level, as you said. And in your wisdom and generosity, you turned it into a teaching opportunity for me. Mick West. I was recently accused of faking an image of Beachy Head in Google Earth. It's actually a little known feature of Google Earth that allows you to zoom in 100 times or more, so I responded to the accusation and turned it into a teaching opportunity. And using your generated image as a guide, you stated that the white cliff in the real-life video still is 106 meters above mean sea level in order to deceive your subscribers. Still from Sunday, 5th of May. The Saturday, 1st of June observation footage is much better, clearer. Look at the difference in detail. It's wonderful. An inverted image can be seen below the real object, the cliffs, which means there is an inferior mirage due to the upward refraction of light. An inverted image can be seen below the real object, which means there is an inferior mirage due to the upward refraction of light. A section will be cut from this video still and brightness and contrast enhanced. There it is, Mr. West, 106 meters above mean sea level, as you said. Oh, but what is that? This is the cutout section from the video still that has been brightness and contrast enhanced that will be used. Note, this is the only place to draw the mirror line that will get an inverted image. That's an excellent match between the two images, wouldn't you say? On the left, real-life video still. On the right, Mr. West's generated image. No one can disagree with that match. It's clear. But what else matches in the two images? Oh, these white cliffs match. And what else matches in the two images? And these white cliffs match. What is the height of those lower matching white cliffs? Interesting. And what is the height of these lower matching white cliffs? Let's consult Google Earth Pro. Google Earth Pro says 65 meters above mean sea level and 55 meters above mean sea level. So, cliffs can be seen that are 55 meters above mean sea level. Inverted color image just for comparison. Brightness and contrast enhanced. We are definitely seeing those lower white cliffs. There is a boat passing in front of them and blocking the view. Video time 10:11. Location: Worthing Sailing Club, Beach. Saturday, 1st of May. Location: Beachy Head. Weather information: Saturday, 1st of June 2019. New Haven is the closest weather station to Beachy Head. Tide data, Saturday, 1st of June 2019. Tide level at Worthing. Tide level at 1616, 1.16 meters above LAT, lowest astronomical tide. Tide level at Beachy Head. Beachy Head is between New Haven and Eastbourne, so a mid-value will be taken. Tide level at 1620, 1.4 meters above LAT, lowest astronomical tide. What is LAT? Below is a diagram showing the different tide levels. Lowest astronomical tide, or LAT, is defined as the lowest tide level which can be predicted to occur under average meteorological conditions and under any combination of astronomical conditions. Many national charting agencies, including the United Kingdom Hydrographic Office and the Australian Hydrographic Office, use the LAT to define chart datums. Data analysis. Worthing tide level above LAT 1.16 meters. Worthing mean sea level 3.30 meters. Worthing tide level 3.30 minus 1.16 equals 2.14 below mean sea level. Camera on beach at Worthing 4 meters above mean sea level. Camera on tripod 1 meter above the ground. Camera height 2.14 meters plus 4 meters plus 1 meter equals 7.14 meters. Camera height is 7.14 meters above the tide level. Camera height 7.2 meters above the tide level. Beachy Head tide level above LAT 1.4 meters. Beachy Head mean sea level 3.7 meters. Beachy Head tide level 3.7 meters minus 1.4 equals 2.3 below mean sea level. Cliff 55 meters above mean sea level. Cliff height 2.3 meters plus 55 meters equals 57.3 meters. Cliff height is 57.3 meters above tide level. And we won't include swell and wind data, which will make the camera height figure even lower. Summary. Beachy Head was observed from Worthing Sailing Club at a distance of 44.2 kilometers or 27.4 miles. The camera at Worthing was 7.2 meters above tide level. The West Cliff at Beachy Head was 57.3 meters above tide level. What does the Earth Curve calculator say? Metabunk.org calculator. According to the globe or similar-sized oblate spheroid/ellipsoid model, at a distance of 44.2 kilometers or 27.4 miles, the hidden geometric height is 94 meters. Although standard refraction is a pseudoscience reification, we shall use it just as a comparison. At a distance of 44.2 kilometers or 27.4 miles, the hidden refracted height is 77 meters. We shall ignore Mr. West's senior moment and word salad. New video coming out soon on this deception. What does hidden geometric height and hidden refracted height actually mean? Hidden geometric height. Using mathematical geometry, it can be calculated at what distance one point on a circle or sphere, point A, cannot be seen from another point, point B, due to the curvature blocking the line of sight. The height from the surface of the circle or sphere that would not be visible at a distance between the 2 points due to the curvature blocking the line of sight can also be calculated. This blocked height from tide level upwards due to curvature is termed as the hidden geometric height. In the example below, the observer at point B cannot view the white cliff at point A because the curvature of the circle or sphere the observer is on is blocking the line of sight to the cliff. The greater the distance the observer is from point A, the more around the curvature the observer will be relative to point A, and the greater the hidden geometric height will be at point A. Hidden refracted height. Surveys done over land across large distances attempt to take into account the assumed refraction of light over land. The surveys assume that the Earth is curved and that the land they are surveying is curved. The surveys assume that as light travels, it bends around the assumed curvature. An adjustment is applied to the readings based on the assumed refraction of light occurring at 7/6 of the assumed radius of Earth. Assumed means that these assumptions have not been proven scientifically by the application of the scientific method. The consequences of these assumptions is that the hidden refracted height is less compared to the hidden geometric height, which means using the hidden refracted height, less of the location from the ground up at point A will be visible compared to if the hidden geometric height value was used. This is illustrated in the diagram below. Land. Different types of land, example bare soil, grassland, shrub, tarmac, woods, etc., can give different refraction results. If this observation was carried out on a globe, with a radius of 6,371 kilometers or 3,959 miles, or similar-sized oblate spheroid or ellipsoid at a distance of 44.2 kilometers or 27.4 miles, then the curvature blocking the line of sight would result in the following hidden heights at point A. Hidden geometric height, 94 meters. Hidden refracted height, 77 meters. If the observation was carried out on a globe, then no section of Beachy Head West Cliffs lower than 77 meters above the tide level would have been visible. So, what are we seeing? If we lived on a globe, water would be up to this level, red line, hidden geometric value at 94 meters. If we lived on a globe with the light refracting downward around the curve, water would be up to this level, the pink line, hidden refractive value at 77 meters. Light was actually refracting in an upward direction during this observation, which is why an inferior mirage is observed. Hold on. An assumed, unproven, hidden refractive value of 77 meters, and the cliffs in the video still are 57.3 meters above tide level. That's over 25% lower than the assumed hidden refractive value. And that's only just the top of the cliff. We won't even include the lower portion. We don't live on a globe. Proved. Mr. West. Get some of that tasty word salad and tweets ready for your gullible subscribers. This one is going to need something a little extra special. Hidden refractive value 77 meters, 57.3 meters above tide observed. That's over 25% lower than the assumed hidden refractive value. Can we be sure that light is refracting in an upward direction? Can I prove to you that what was observed, the cliffs, were not behind the curve? Yes. The fact that an inferior mirage is present due to the refraction of light in an upward direction proves that the object observed, the cliffs, are where they are observed and not behind the curve. What is an inferior mirage, and how does it prove the cliffs were not behind the curve? The hot tarmac road inferior mirage is a situation most people have witnessed. On a hot sunny day, the tarmac or concrete road absorbs the sunlight, considerably raising its temperature. The hot road heats the layer of air directly over it. This results in an air density gradient that consists of a layer of hotter, less dense air above the road, underneath a layer of cooler, more dense air above it. The light reflecting off the car and passing through the density gradient is refracted in an upward direction, resulting in an inferior mirage being observed as illustrated below. First, the sunlight reflects off the car. Second, light refracts in an upward direction. Third, human brain assumes light travels in a straight line and sees a refracted image at the end of the green dashed line called an inferior mirage. An air density gradient is present. Cooler, more dense air is above, warmer, less dense air. The light changes direction in an upward direction relative to its prior direction of travel. This type of refraction produces an inferior mirage. The refracted image is always observed inverted and below the actual object. Simple way to remember: image below object, upward refraction of light. This is a proved and known scientific principle. The inferior mirage over water. Another example of the upward refraction of light. A portion of light from the sun is reflecting off the buildings and land and traveling out to sea towards the observer. Light rays initially traveling downwards towards the sea will pass through the density gradient and be refracted in an upward direction. This results in the viewer out on the sea looking back at the land observes an inverted image known as an inferior mirage. The observer, whose brain works by light travels in straight lines, pictures the image along the black dashed line path. The refraction of light in an upward direction. Note: below the yellow line is actually sea, but it cannot be observed because we are observing the inferior mirage of the boat in front of it. The same as on a hot day, it looks like a pool of water is in front of a person standing on the black tarmac. Were inferior mirages occurring along the coast? Inferior mirages can be observed in the video footage. Inverted images can be observed underneath the actual objects, the cliffs, which occur due to the refraction of light in an upward direction. The yellow line is termed the mirror line. The actual object is above the mirror line and the inferior mirage or inverted image is observed below it. Image stretched vertically to permit a clearer view of the mirror line. Summary. An inferior mirage is always observed inverted and below the actual object. An inferior mirage is observed because light reflected from the object refracts in an upward direction as it passes through a density gradient. And what does this prove? If the object was behind the curve, it would not be possible to observe the inverted image, the inferior mirage. Proof of an inferior mirage and light refracting in an upward direction is an observed inverted image under the actual object, which is easily detected by drawing an appropriate mirror line through the picture. The green line represents a ray of reflected light traveling in a straight line. The pink line represents the path of a ray of light being refracted in an upward direction, which is necessary if an inferior mirage is to be observed. If the actual object is behind the curve, can the ray of light refracting in an upward direction be observed by the camera at point B? No, it will obviously travel over the camera. If the light refracting in an upward direction travels over the camera, will an inferior mirage be observed by the camera? No, obviously not. On a globe, it is not possible for an inferior mirage, an inverted image underneath the actual object, to be observed, because the rays of light refracting in an upward direction will not enter the observer's eye or device. On a globe with a radius of 6,371 kilometers or 3,959 miles or similar sized oblate spheroid or ellipsoid. Object, cliff, 57.3 meters above tide level. Observer, 7.2 meters above tide level. Distance 42.2 kilometers or 27.4 miles. However, it is possible for an inferior mirage to be observed as an inverted image underneath the actual object at a distance of 44.2 kilometers or 27.4 miles over a flat surface. A ray of light refracting in an upward direction. The human brain optical devices work on the principle that light travels in a straight line and sees an inverted refracted image at the end of the black dashed line, called an inferior mirage. Would light being assumed to bend around the curve produce an inferior mirage? No, it will not. If this was occurring, then only a normal image will be observed as illustrated in the diagram below. Is it at all possible for an inferior mirage to be seen on a globe? Note, for an inferior mirage to be seen, the ray of light must be refracting in an upward direction as it enters the observer's eye or device. For the light to reach point B from point A, the following stages would have to occur. 1. The sunlight reflects off the cliffs and travels around the globe. 2. The light then starts to refract in a downward direction due to the sudden presence of a vertical density gradient. This does not ever happen under normal everyday conditions in the UK. 3. The light then starts to refract in an upward direction due to an immediate inversion in the vertical density gradient. This does not ever happen under normal everyday conditions in the UK. 4. But this would only result in an inferior mirage, inverted refracted image being seen by the observer and not the actual object, and this does not happen. Are there any photos that show this? No. Applying the known scientific principles of light, refraction, and density gradients at sea, it is not possible for an inferior mirage, a downward inverted image, to be observed underneath the actual object under normal, non-specialized, non-manipulated atmospheric conditions on a globe. No purposely set up, specialized, or manipulated conditions that are not normally, naturally present. If you know anyone who says it is possible for an inferior mirage, a downward inverted image, to be observed underneath the actual object on a globe under normal, non-specialized, non-manipulated atmospheric conditions, draw a diagram for them as illustrated below and ask them to sketch on it how it will work following the known scientific principles. 1. The observer must see the actual object and a downward inverted image, inferior mirage, underneath it. 2. The rays of light that result in the observer seeing the inferior mirage must be refracting in an upward direction as they enter the eye or device. 3. The density gradient must be vertically identical across the surface of the water from points A to B. When a person cannot do this, they will engage in one or more of the following. 1. Obfuscation. 2. Deflection. 3. Word salad. 4. Direct you to a model. If they attempt any of the 4 points above, ask them for their own personal empirical evidence to support what they are saying. When you don't receive it, which you won't, you will immediately know the person is disingenuous and lying. As you can see, for this observation, I was well above the level of the tide, 7.2 meters above tide level. This allowed a clear view, not blocked by haze. This proves that we do not live on a globe. If anyone says refraction, say yes, refraction is occurring and the light is refracting in an upward direction according to the known and accepted scientific principles, so the light from the lower white cliffs should be traveling above our heads, preventing them from being seen. If they say anything further, just ask them for their personal empirical evidence and smile. Conclusions. It would not be possible to observe the lower west cliffs of Beachy Head if we live on a globe or similar-sized oblate spheroid or ellipsoid with a radius of approximately 6,371 kilometers or 3,959 miles. They were observed and recorded. We do not live here. No known scientific principles can be applied to this observation that disproves that we do not live on a globe or similar-sized oblate spheroid ellipsoid with a radius of approximately 6,371 kilometers or 3,959 miles. It is incontrovertible unless you are a science denier or Mr. West. Mr. West, it is time to stop taking advantage of your subscriber base. You may treat them as being less mentally astute as you, but how you are deceiving them is just not fair. These people trusted you. 5 characteristics of a sociopath. 1. Irresponsibility. 2. Lying. 3. Lack of emotion. 4. Manipulation. And 5. Superficially charming. Thanks for watching.